Shalom. All praises, blessings, glories, and honors to Yahweh, the King of terrors, Bahashim, Yahawashai, Bahashim, Racha, Kodash. And double honors to my elder apostles and bishop elders of Great Millstone who taught me this truth, as well of men of like mind. Shalom wa chasad, which means peace and mercy, to the elect of the nation of Israel, when we use so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native American Indians, and there's like foreigners of the sea land of our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And we're scattered here in America, which is Babylon the Great, and abroad. To you I say Shalom, beginning with the 144,000 prophets, and Yahweh, the King of terrors, Bahashim, Yahawashai, willing. This lesson is edifying. My name is Quan Wath. Any inspiration for this lesson came from several videos I've been watching over the course of the week so far, done by the elder apostles, the bishop elders, all the brothers, the prophets, the teachers, concerning the prophecy of the mark of the beast, which is a major prophecy. And several articles, videos were mentioned, and the Spirit has inspired me to do this lesson. So now this is the book of Revelation, chapter 13, verse 16. And the he is referring to the wealthy, wicked elite of Esau, Edom, who, according to the book of Malachi, chapter 1, verse 4, is the wicked, in whose hand, which in the Hebrew is Yad, which means power or strength, the earth has been given into, pursuant to the book of Job, chapter 9, verse 24. But for a season, pursuant to the book of Job, chapter 20, verse 4. That is the he that it is referring to, causeth all people on the earth except for the elect of the nation of Israel, the Israel of Yahweh, the King of terrors, Bahashim, Yahawashai, that our Lord promised, pursuant to the book of Revelation, chapter 3, verse 10, that he would keep from the hour of temptation, which is the hour of trial through the idea of piercing. That is the hour of the trial of an Israelite man's fidelity in Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahawashai, through the idea of piercing. Now, of course, we understand that this will be a global prophetic event, as all men will be tested, but the focus is on the sons and daughters of the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel, us so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native American Indians, and Israelite foreigners, right? And so the wealthy elite of Esau, Edom, will cause all, both small and great, from a newborn baby to an elderly senior in society, rich and poor, whether they be rich or poor in society, free and bond, whether they be free or in bondage in the jail systems of society, to receive a mark. That mark in the Greek is charagma, which means a stamp or imprinted mark. And the root word of charagma is charax, which means a palisade or stake. And the root word of charax is grapho, which means of the writings, filled with the writings, filled with the records or recordings. And so within the charagma that will be punctured and inserted into the flesh of individuals through the grapho will contain people's, through the charax will contain people's grapho, their information, Again, charagma means stamp or imprinted mark. Charax means palisade or stake. And grapho means writings or records. All right, and so again, within the charagma, people's grapho, people's writings, people's records, including their financial records, their social security, their ID, okay, their M to the E to the D to the I to the C, and you know the rest. Records, I have to say it like that just so they won't flag this lesson for you know what misinformation. All right, will then be inserted into people's right hand or their forehead through that charax, all right, that needle, that syringe mechanism, right? It says to receive a mark in their right hand, which means literally their right hand, or it could be in their left hand, or in their foreheads, which is in front of their brain, right? And that mark is the RFID microchip. In Europe, it is known as the NFC chip implant. NFC stands for Near Field Communication. RFID stands for Radio Frequency Identification Device. It is also known as the biochip implant. The word bio means living or alive. And also the brain chip implant, i.e. Elon Musk's Neuralink. Right? And that no man might buy or sell. So no man will be able to participate in buying and selling in society, save he, unless he had the mark or the name of the beast. The beast is the pagan Roman Empire, which came back in the form of NATO and the EU, and America being an extension of that empire. That is the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man. And his number is 666, which in the Greek is chi, stai, some brothers say zai, stigma. And chi and stai both means X mark, and stigma means stamp. I often make this reference that there's a saying in the world, X marks the spot. Look at certain medical movies, before a doctor or a nurse punctures the flesh of an individual with a syringe, they'll either spray an X or a circle with a dot on the middle, anywhere on their skin. And that'd be considered the spot of puncture. In reality, it's the same thing they'll do when they use that charax, that palisade or stake, to then puncture the flesh of individuals, whether it be in their right hands or in their foreheads, to then insert that charagma, that stamp, that imprinted mark that will contain people's grapho, their writings, their records, their information. And that includes their keys, whether it be the keys to their office at work or more, their cars, doors at their homes, and so on and so forth. They'll sell it in such a way that it'll wheedle the mind of people across the globe, because it'll be packaged and presented in the form of convenience. Okay? Elon Musk said that people will be able to do, quote, so-called Jesus level miracles. Have you been suffering from a disability your entire life? Or after some point in your life due to an unfortunate accident or an event? Well, if you take this chip in your right hand or in your forehead, you'll be able to regain the functionalities that you would have had lost. In fact, not only will you regain them, but they'll be enhanced. These are all examples of some of the things that they'll use to coax the minds of the simple. All right, when they present that chip across the globe after they mandate it, then eventually mandate it. And stigma means stamp. Additionally, we typically see 666 in the form of a universal product code, which is found behind products in your supermarkets and your grocery stores, and it's used for the purpose of tracking. But we understand that technology has been advancing, and Esau Edom will upgrade his tracking system to a particular network known as a blockchain, which is a network that is used to store data and transactions. You know, in fact, let me, for edification's sake, look up the word blockchain, and it won't just be any kind of blockchain. It'll be a centralized blockchain. Blockchain, a digital database containing information such as records of financial transactions that can be simultaneously used and shared within a large decentralized, publicly accessible network. Where decentralized means the dispersion or distribution of functions and powers, specifically government, the delegation of power from a central authority to regional and local authorities. Right? What is the difference between centralized and decentralized? Let's ask ChatGPT that question. What is the difference between centralized and decentralized blockchain? Centralized systems have one authority that controls the network. Decentralized blockchains are controlled by many independent participants who collectively maintain a network. And the ones that will be maintaining the network of the New World Order will be the elites of Esau Edom. Okay, whether it be broken up into many collective parts, or whether it be under one central authority, it will all be controlled by the wicked elite of Esau Edom. All right. A centralized system is like a traditional bank. JP Morgan Chase controls its own database if they want to freeze an account. See that? Reverse a transaction, change a policy, shut down access. So they can literally shut down your chip. If for those that go against the grain, they can shut people's chip down, freeze their accounts and all that. They can do this because they own and operate the system. Advantages include fast transactions, easier customer support, can reverse mistakes, more efficient. And these are all ways of convenience that they'll package and present to people for taking that chip. Of course, it comes with disadvantages, right? But the point is that we are heading towards a global introduction and subsequent mandation of the mark of the beast, right? And by the way, stigma means stamp, as I mentioned earlier. And when we examine the word stigma on the online etymology dictionary, figuratively, it means a mark of disgrace. So those who take that chip, not only will they be destined for imminent destruction, but they'll also be seen as a disgrace before the Heavenly Father Yahweh through His Son Yahweh Shai. Right? And leading up to the destruction, those that take that chip, they're going to experience a noisome and grievous sore in the form of a cancer. Revelation chapter 16 verse 2, and the first went and poured out his vial upon the earth, and there fell a noisome and grievous sore upon the men which had the mark of the beast, and upon them which worshipped his image. And the image of the beast is a system of the beast. Everything that comprises this man's system is the image of the beast. Right? And those that worship the beast in his image and receive his mark in his right hand or in his forehead, right, they're going to receive a noisome and grievous sore. And then eventually, pursuant to Revelation chapter 14, verse 9 on down, destruction by way of thermonuclear fire. Revelation chapter 14, verse 9, and the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast in his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of Yahweh, the King of terrors, Bahashem Yahushai, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb, who is Yahushai. So those that take that chip and worship this man's image, his system, they're going to receive the full wrath of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Okay? And the smoke of their torment through thermonuclear fire. And the smoke of their torment ascended up forever and ever, meaning for a period of time. And they have no rest day nor night, who worship the beast in his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name. Here is the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of Yahweh, the King of terrors, and the faith of Yahweh Shai, Hamashiach. And who are they? The elect of the nation of Israel, which I pray am of the elect, as well as your brothers and few sisters. And so with that, I conclude this lesson. Lord's willing, it's been edifying. Now I get you brothers and few sisters, Lord's willing, in the next lesson. Shalom.